What up, what up, what up? Back at it again, Real Fans Podcast. This time the house is full. I'm your boy, Gabe. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Please, you guys are far too kind, far too kind. I'm gonna have it over to our mega producer, the man behind all the buttons, pressing the buttons. Julian, there you go.
It's your boy Julian, known for pressing buttons, known for pushing buttons on this podcast.
Yeah. Him and JoJo like to go at it. And that's my boy JoJo down here, coming off fresh off vacation.
Your boy's back. Nice to be back. You know, I had a little time to visit some family out there, you know, so took some time off. But let's get it, man. I'm excited. Episode 90, if I'm not mistaken. I heard our YouTube's been doing really well, so I appreciate all you listeners and viewers for supporting not just this podcast, but Real Fans FC. Shout out to Julian and the boys over there. We got a lot going on.
We're killing it. Not even just on YouTube, but even on Spotify and the audio platforms. Everything's doing well, man. Implementation. I think our content flow has really been killing it over there, especially on YouTube. So we just need to get the social media thing rolling and Gabe tweeting again. Some language. And now we are. I was gonna say. Now we're on Threads. So nothing's on there yet, but the count is made. So people want to follow it. But soon,
Gabe's evolved. No, it's no longer Twitter fingers. You gonna catch these thread hand.
I had to get my.
He's threading.
Once you spoke with Gabe, you know where to find Gabe. All right. So you know we love when people come at Gabe in the comments. Listen,
Gabe, don't even create a Threads. Just use ours. Don't even create one. Just only sign in ours.
Well, speaking of
he's getting blown up. Oh, you hear the news sources? Right, the got sources.
I know. Adrian Woj asks, it's a Woj bomb.
Yeah, I gotta take this.
We dropped a Woj bomb.
Speaking of
Lillard in Miami.
No, Lillard to Miami. That hasn't happened yet. It's probably gonna happen, but it hasn't happened yet. We'll talk about that a little later.
Ohtani signs a new contract.
That's probably gonna happen too. Let's talk about our sister podcast, Real Fans FC, because we have news today, right? Julian, you actually have to get out of here early today because it's official. Messi, he's in uniform now. We can take pictures of him in a uniform, not just Photoshop.
Still no contract signed. So they're very meticulous with how the press is, like how their press releases have been like saying. It's like there's a lot of insinuating, but yesterday, or was it today? Actually, it was today. They announced that they're holding an event called The Unveil. And they're not saying who's at The Unveil, but we all know who's going to be there.
It's not going to be Gabe. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, it's not going to be Gabe. It's not going to be Gabe. But the goat of all goats has landed in Fort Lauderdale Executive Airport right by the stadium. And looks like they're figuring out some paperwork as well. So a lot of people are talking about not just Messi, but also Busquets. Jordi Alba's kind of not sure if he's going to be there. Probably not. But those are going to be the two guys, Messi and friends, with apparently like musical appearances and performances. I don't know exactly what's going there. For guys who don't know, I do work at the stadium and with the team. I don't know what to expect yet. So that's what I'm going to find out.
Inside source.
But they announced all season ticket members, free event for all those guys to come. And it's just going to be Messi waving at you and David Beckham giving a speech. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of celebrities there, I'm sure. So
do you think they're going to treat this like the decision when LeBron came to Miami? They're going to have this whole press conference, dude. And they're going to promise
look, I will say
10 championships in the next 10 years.
It's not like I will say I hate the whole like Messi LeBron comparison because it's not even close. Like the idea, it's Messi's so much bigger than LeBron, and it's not even funny. I mean, you're talking about the second most followed person on social media on the planet, only second to Ronaldo. I mean, when he arrived, and Inter Miami is now at 9 million followers on Instagram, which is more than any NHL team, NFL team, and MLB team. And the only teams that are ahead of them are the Golden State Warriors, the Lakers, and the Chicago Bulls in the United States. So like people don't understand what's about to be coming. It's unlike anything. I mean, this is just the
that's
start.
What I'm saying. So I'm agreeing, right? Like with this unveil, right? You saw how prevalent and big it was when LeBron came with the big three.
Mm-hmm.
Is it going to be like this? Is that how the atmosphere is going to be when they have
it's going to be wild. It's going to be more insane. I mean, when you see like that South American sports atmosphere is unlike anything in the world. Like, honestly, like it's the people go wild down there, and the stadium atmospheres are just unlike anything you'll see here in the United States. So, like I said, this is just the start. So it's so awesome to see, and hopefully we're going to see the pen to paper so they can actually finally have him hold up the jersey and do it, because so far everything's just been insinuated. It's not like actually happened. So looks like the paperwork's finally getting signed today. We're going to see him Sunday. David Beckham's going to be there, ownership, everybody's speech, the Busquets. It's going to be wild. And this, like I said, it's just the start. And now he's
watch out for traffic on the I-95 going up that way, right? Because
if you're in Commercial Boulevard, North Fort Lauderdale,
people outside of the stadium.
They just added extra seats to the stadiums. They filled in the corners of the stadium, so it's going to increase the capacity up 3,000, I think, or 4,000.
Yeah, I think it's going from like 18 to 20.
We were talking about that before, right? How it's like almost like a discredit to the stadium and the team for not having like, a real sized, stadium.
Yeah, it's still a temporary stadium at the end of the day until they opened in Miami, the Freedom Park. And I guess the goal is to have it ready at 2025. So Messi opens it right when his contract ends, and maybe it leads into whoever else decides to come 2 years from now. Maybe it's Neymar or somebody. I don't know. But I think the goal is to that's not happening. that's not anytime soon. Oh man, there's not enough money in the world. Actually, there's enough money in Saudi, but that's about it. But no, it's crazy. Like I said, it's gonna be like when the Beatles came to America. It's gonna be fucking insane. Tickets sold out everywhere, all over the country for the next 2.5 years. It's gonna be wild, and I'm glad I get to see it front and center. So I mean, are you guys pumped? Like, they're gonna broadcast it on TV.
For the viewers out there, right? We know Julian might be working, but hopefully he could catch a glimpse, get us some content of some on-site, some live stuff. Sometimes at work you can't always do it, but hey, if you can pull through, I think that'll be really dope.
Oh yeah, I definitely will. But I know Gabe's been watching the Gold Cup. And the Gold Cup final at halftime, that's when they plan on trying to showcase it on TV on Fox in the Gold Cup halftime. So we'll see that actually, and on Apple TV outside as well.
Maybe I might just drive out there, try to get a giveaway or some shit.
Good luck, man.
Good luck.
Ask for like $300.
I'll carpool with Julian.
I will say the ticket prices have calmed down. Obviously, everybody's trying to get the rush. I mean, you could probably get a solid ticket. Like if you're just waiting outside the gate, like 5 minutes before launch starts, and people are just like, "Fuck, I need to get rid of it. I need to get rid of it." We've done that before with the Florida Panthers. Like we were like going to buy a ticket, and we're like, "No, let's like one more day, like the day before," and then the ticket price dropped like $15 per ticket.
That worked wonders with the World Baseball Classic out here.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes people get desperate and they just need to get rid of it. Now you're stuck paying however much it was.
Hey, so Julian, can you give a context for Inter Miami at this part of the season? It's kind of getting towards the end, right? We're like over halfway through, done, and Inter Miami's like towards the bottom. Is it going to be enough to turn around this year?
Man, that has been the topic of conversation throughout all of like American soccer. Is just like, can they turn it around? So it's tough, man. So leading up to halfway through the season, Inter Miami's been plagued with injuries. I mean, we are missing 7 starters. This past weekend against DC United, they had to play 6 homegrown academy players, 18, 17 years old, out there playing professional ball against DC United, which and they tied the game, which is extremely impressive. I mean, I think they just broke an MLS record for the most homegrown players on the field at once. And for those who don't know what a homegrown player is, essentially a player that's worked its way up through the ranks of the academy since a little kid, and they finally get called up to the first team. And we had 6 players. Obviously, not all 6 should have made it. they kind of had to play due to necessity because we just been played with the injury bug like crazy. I mean, unlike anything I've seen before. So Messi's getting a really tough team, but we're also entering. This is summer transfer window has just opened, so we're seeing a lot of. That's why the Messi thing is just now happening because the transfer window is officially open. So players are finally getting signed: Messi, Busquets, Jordi Alba, and now there's rumors of 2 more other players going, young guys from Argentina. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, as for the rest of the season, so Messi's going to debut in a mid-season tournament called Leagues Cup, which is like basically a March Madness between MLS and Liga MX, the Mexican Soccer League. It's like and the top 3 qualify for the Champions League next season. So there's that tournament. See how far we can make it. See how that goes well. So it gives time for Messi to kind of acclimate before regular season is back into action. And then also Inter Miami is still in the hunt for the U.S. Open Cup, which is a domestic tournament that happens. Every club in the entire country in the United States all plays in another March Mile style bracket. And Inter Miami is in the semifinals right now. So if we win that, you win that trophy, then you also get into the Champions League. The goal this season, get into the Champions League. You can get into the Champions League, go against some of the best in the continent, and then move on to the Club World Cup. That'd be great. So, but as for the regular season, there's only going to be, I think, 12 games left. So it's going to be an uphill battle, I think, due to the math, because they're at the bottom of the table right now in the Eastern Conference. And for them to get into the 9th place seed, which is what they need to get into the play-in, which is a new thing they implemented, which everybody's pissed about. But either way, they're going to a lot of people, they're going to have to win 8 out of the 12 to even have a chance to get in.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a real uphill battle. So
yeah, so
there's 34. There's 34 games in a season, but then you have the tournaments as well that are different things. Whether you're made it in a Champions League, then you have U.S. Open Cup, and now
so
this new one.
Those in-season tournaments, do they still count towards their regular season record?
No. These tournaments are to get into the big tournament called the Champions League. So you have your regular season, and you can qualify for the Champions League through your regular season. But there's also other ways to qualify into it, which before it was only just the Open Cup, but this year, which is kind of a money grab tournament to bring in all the Mexican soccer fans, is to there's now this March Madness where every team from Mexico, every team from the United States are going up against each other. Yeah. A lot of people don't like it because it's too much to squeeze into the calendar, and there's a lot of issues with player fatigue and stuff like that. And it's a big cash grab, and now they're making it so, if you win this, you get into the Champions League now. So it's like another berth to get in. But before, it's just where you place in the regular season. And but I think a lot of fans right now are just like, let's see how good we can. Let's try to win the U.S. Open Cup. That one's the most likely scenario of getting in because you literally just got to go against 2 teams. You're in the semifinals already. Get into beat that, and then win the final, which it's going to be tough because the semifinal matchups against Cincinnati, which is the best team in the league. But so a lot of people are just kind of focused on the tournament. Whatever happens with the regular season happens. We're going to revamp in the winter,
start fresh,
amp up, and then go hard next season. And if we can get through the U.S. Open Cup, then that means next season we can play in the Champions League and where the big money is.
Having someone like Messi might just turn you guys into a great tournament team, right?
Messi and friends, yeah. I mean, you're basically bringing the 2012 Barcelona team. You're bringing the 2012 Barcelona team. So
you guys can still see some sort of success this season just by getting a player like of that magnitude, right? So real quick question for you. So Messi compared to our best player right now in the United States, like rank them on a scale. Like if Messi's 10, rank the best player
in MLS?
Name a sport.
In MLS.
Oh, in MLS.
In MLS?
Where does he land? So if Messi's 10, right, in the world, whatever, he's the best in the world. And what does he compare to, or what is our best player compared to Messi?
Who's it? Pulisic?
All right, so Messi is not really the best player in the world anymore. I would say Mbappe is, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's going to be so weird to see how Messi adjusts to this league because it's such a different league. But the best player I think in the league, and I think a lot of people would agree with me, is Hani Mukhtar, a German from that plays at Nashville SC. He was the MVP last year, and he's probably on track to win MVP again this year, which would make him the first MLS player to go back-to-back MVPs in the history of the league.
They never had that. Wow.
No, so man, so if Messi's a 10, I would say Hani Mukhtar is a 5.
Yeah, so damn.
I mean, there's a huge discrepancy. I mean, that's why this is not like LeBron going to Miami. This is like LeBron going to the G League after winning a championship.
I mean, LeBron would cook in a G League.
This is like Sean. This is like here. You know what's a better comparison? This is like Shawnee Ohtani going to Double-A.
Oh shit!
And look, I'm a realist MLS fan. I love MLS. I love the parody of it. It's different than any other leagues in the world. I'm a huge MLS fanboy, but I'm also a realist at the end of the day. MLS is growing in quality and in popularity, especially in quality. The quality has gone through the roof. And I think this whole Messi thing is going to finally open up the doors to make the salary cap way bigger and blow up all the roster rules that are currently set in place that are pretty much historic at this point, and they were only put in to make sure the league was sustainable in the early 2000s. But now the league is at such a better place with 30 teams, all teams worth hundreds of millions of dollars, billionaire owners that are willing to invest. I mean, look at the Jorge Mas with Inter Miami, willing to pay so much money. I think the league has matured now, and I think coming into this winter, we're going to see a massive shift in the way MLS structures their salary cap going forward, especially with the CBA ending with the MLSPA, the Players Association. So I think this is just a chasm of like, this is why it's so big, because it's like, all right, now people are going to want to compete with Miami and start creating bidding wars in the MLS, especially teams that are heavy spenders like LA. A lot of LA gets a lot of big name players around the world. I think this winter they're going to blow up all those old rules and implement something new, maybe like a $30 million a year salary cap or whatever it is, plus whatever incentives.
And you might be onto something, but I feel like teams would only do that depending on the success of Miami having Messi, right? Because let's say, okay, you got the best player on the planet, but you're still a team that either can't win a championship or can't get into playoffs. Like, I don't think teams will take that risk if it's not, beneficial. Or
The performance on the field is not going to matter. At the end of the day, it's a business. Inter Miami is going to make more money than any MLS team could ever imagine. And if any team can replicate that and bring in big stars, LA will do it. LA Galaxy made so much money when David Beckham got here. And there's a reason why they continue to be one of the biggest spenders in the league. When you bring the players, people will come. And MLS already has, I think, the second highest attendant league in United States, only behind the NFL. It pulls higher attendance than the NBA, the MLB, and the NHL. I mean,
do you feel like it's because of, I know popularity is increasing, but there's less games? Well, other than that, I know that.
I'm a big proponent to where I think the less games things really matters. I think I've always said, and it's so weird. I mean, a lot of soccer fans and football fans do kind of overlap here in the States, but then overseas in Europe, a lot of people hate on American football. But like, to me, if there's any like really good like comparison between the two, I feel like, and this is the reason why I fell in love with both, is it's kind of similar. It's like it's a week in, week out basis. It's like every Saturday you're playing another team. You're amping up and preparing and you play. There's a lot more anticipation. I've always believed that's like such a big factor into it. And like the game day experiences, the tailgate. Like, I just feel like when you have so many games, it takes away a lot of the soul of like every game meaning something. Like here, I mean, you got 34 games to get into the playoffs. And with the way MLS is, it's a lot of parity. There's a salary cap, which there's no salary cap in any other league in the world when it comes to soccer, and everything matters. You know what I mean? Versus, I think that's the one thing. That's why I hate how MLS is kind of going towards NBA route with play-ins and expanding playoffs. It's like, no, man, like that's not the move. Like I liked how they had it before, and I think they're going to revert. I guess they're going to test out this year, see how it goes.
Yeah, they're going to have to test it out for a few seasons.
But the thing is, MLS has changed the playoff structure so many times. But yeah, I mean, I do think like that's why I like, because I'm not just going to watch a game on Wednesday at 1 a.m. Like I'm not. But like when you have your league every weekend, and then every Wednesday you have your Champions League. Like it's scheduled TV, you know what I mean? Like I try to watch Marlins games, but I always have to look and see when it is. I know every Saturday this team's going to play. I know every Sunday during American football season, NFL season, like there's going to be games on. You know what I mean? I think there's something to that I think other sports are missing. That there's a certain, that's why TV shows get so popular, and why like every week is like the anticipation. I think when you just have too many games, it's like people just lose track, and it's like, what's the point of me even paying attention? That's why I mean that's how even EuroLeague is once a week, like in Europe. It's like you're anticipating everything. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm excited. I think it's going to be wild. I think this is really going to grow the sport a lot. I think that's why I think this is the biggest sports move in the history since Pele came to fucking the United States back in the 70s.
Yeah, I think that's the bigger picture. Is like it allows other players, these older players, maybe from the European leagues, to come and like, hey, you have an opportunity to come and grow the game in general. And maybe not a specific franchise. Maybe this is the best Miami will ever be, but as a sport in general, as a league, it definitely improves. The
and once you increase the competition, once you increase the competition, the quality of the game, players are going to want to come earlier. Like, and we've been seeing a subtle growth of players. Obviously, Messi is the exception right now because at the end of the day, it's fucking Messi. You're talking about one of the most hot, famous people on the planet. So you're going to make exceptions. But like a lot of like MLS are not really going after these old guys like they used to back in the day. The new wave has been getting a lot of younger guys who maybe not like cutting it super well, like middling players in like Europe, now coming over here and playing well and increasing the league. And then also due to the academies being so much better now in the United States, like there's a true pathway for kids now that like we didn't even have. Like I didn't even have as a kid. Like there was no pathway to a first team. Now there is. These kids now have like can go in at 12 years old to the Inter Miami Academy, and if they're good enough, as they get older, they slowly work their way up through the ranks. And you could be like this past weekend would be one of these 6 homegrowns that were on the field. And I think as long as your academies get better, kids are getting trained better and know how to play better, and then you're bringing in more talent at younger ages, it's just going to be a recipe for. And then once they loosen the salary cap restrictions and like start trying to compete with Champions League teams overseas, because that's where the big money is at the end of the day. And I think it's going to be a while to beat those guys. Like you're not going to beat England overnight. I don't think you'll ever beat England. They're just too far ahead. But could you crack into the top 5 and surpass France, for example? The French league is a fucking joke. Like outside of PSG.
Wow.
So
at Julian on Threads.
It is. I mean, that's not a hot take either. A lot of people are like, it's like outside of PSG, the French league is ass. Like, but I get even you guys who don't watch it, you guys can name. Like, actually, let's do a little thing. How many Premier League teams? We'll do this. How many Champions League teams do you think you can name? Can you name 5? Five teams. Not just England. Any all over Europe.
I can name Milan A, Milan B.
Manchester
United. That's a half a point.
Manchester United.
Okay, that's one. Let JoJo go first. Okay.
Liverpool.
Okay.
PSG.
Not a Champions League team now, but yeah. Yes.
All right. Shit. All right, pass. Go, Gabe. Let me think.
Man, you got 2 more that would have been easy.
Oh,
Tottenham.
Man United.
You already said Man United. You said that first.
Man City.
I said Manchester.
Tottenham.
Chelsea. Tottenham.
Hold on. Man United and Manchester United are the same team.
You got Manchester City and Man United.
Oh, you didn't say City. You said Man United first.
There's two though, right?
Yeah, there's two. Yeah.
All right, so there you go. See, I know a little something.
Hey, well, go, Gabe. What was it? What do you got?
I said Chelsea, Tottenham.
Oh, Chelsea.
Because they just won. That's
Chelsea did not just win. Chelsea's terrible.
A couple years ago.
Damn, no Real Madrid, no Barcelona.
I mean, those are. Yeah.
Messi's literally coming to Miami. Barcelona.
I didn't know if that was actually one of them.
And by the way, Gabe, it's not Milan A, Milan B. It's Inter Milan, AC Milan.
Listen, I had to think back to 2005 FIFA.
AFC Richmond.
AFC Richmond. Have you watched Ted Lasso?
Plymouth.
I'm on season two.
Finally, it's good, right? You're learning. Actually, you might be learning a little bit, like relegation really and like understanding. Like you go down if you're at the bottom of the league.
It's funny because I tie what they discuss it with what you're talking about. I'm like, okay. Now
that's why every game matters. You can't tank. You tank, you get relegated, and if you get relegated, you're talking about so much money lost. It's a detriment. It's a huge deal. And it shows the passion. You fucking wanker.
Great me and Gabe, man. How do we do on that?
Not great.
Not good.
Anyways, let's talk about summertime because we're hitting, the doldrums summer. NBA just entered the summer league, which was big and anticipated. Obviously, they just came off the draft. I don't think we got to talk about the draft a little bit, but there really wasn't that much. But the NBA opened up. Summer League was the most watched ever on ESPN, averaging 450,000 viewers. I think they had the debut of Wembanyama, had 72 million views on their app. So let's talk a little bit about the Summer League because I think they just announced Wembanyama is officially going to sit. He's only played 2 games. He 2 games, scored 36 points, 20 rebounds, 8 blocks, shooting 41% from the floor. A total of 54 minutes, and he's officially being sat down. So, what do you guys think so far of the Summer League and Wembanyama's debut?
I do want to ask a quick question about the draft to you guys. Do you think the draft, like the NBA draft, has kind of lost its gravitas to what it used to be?
I mean, I think it depends on
especially with the G League stuff.
I think it depends on the talent pool, to be honest.
Of players that come out, and
now that
I'm
locking in more on college basketball, I've been keeping up with a few players and seeing where they land, especially my UConn guys. I mean, if it wasn't for Wembanyama, I do feel like this would have been a sleeper draft, right? That kind of built some hype because when we talk about generational players, like they really believe he's a generational player. That brought some hype. Now, other than him, who would have been like number one in college basketball that we're all talking about?
Brandon Miller,
I think
the kid from Alabama, who obviously had a crazy story.
But did he really have that, like, let's say like Zion hype coming in at number 1 or top 5? Like, did you feel that presence for anyone in the top 5 in college basketball?
I mean, I would have said him. I mean, and the weird thing about colleges is like I never know like what is going to translate because there's some players that are really good in college, right? I think of like Mario Chalmers, really great freaking champion, comes to the NBA and he has a productive career. But was he a superstar? Was he winning shooting titles and stuff? Not really. So for me, it's hard. It's hard for me to watch. It's hard for me to watch college basketball and like project. But you talked about JoJo about having generational people like you think of your LeBrons, maybe your Melos, your Zions, these kind of bigger than life characters, Shaq or something. Those guys tend to work out, but like sometimes it'll just be a guy who can just be productive. He'll shoot a high percentage, maybe 30% from 3 consistent, and maybe he's not winning scoring titles, but you can still have a productive figure. So that for me, Julian, when you ask is the draft. I don't know. I guess it depends on the class. I feel like the class, like the volume of, I guess, good players. Usually, you can go pretty deep in the rounds and get good quality players. But I say it's, I guess, a lack of consistently of having that. I mean, and that's kind of weird to have it all the time, every year. Like every year, this is going to be the best player every year. It's not. I don't think that's really how it works in the real world.
Yeah, I was gonna say too. I wonder with like more European players coming too. It's kind of hard. You can't really judge these guys because a lot of people here have never seen them. So it's like, do we really know how good Luka was gonna be? Because like most basketball fans here have never watched a Real Madrid basketball game too. So it's like. Or like Giannis and stuff, so it's like a lot. Or Jokic, Jokic was a second round pick, right? I think.
Yeah. He got picked during a commercial, a Taco Bell commercial.
I think too, especially like with that aspect of it, it's like, I don't know, how am I going to get hyped? I don't know anything about this guy. But do G League players don't get into the draft? Do they? No.
No. I think it's only for college.
They only could get called up. I'm not really sure how that works.
So they have supplemental.
Okay, so they only get with the affiliated NBA team.
Yeah. So partnered with. Once the draft happens, I think there's a supplemental draft where people are allowed to pick up players. You can pick up players for the G League, but I think it's under certain conditions. You might like lose picks and stuff. But then after that, everybody's a free agent, so anybody can sign. And usually that's when G Leagues, they'll pick up players and guys, whoever they think. So, but yeah, go ahead, JoJo. You want to jump in?
No, man. I feel like it's really hard to tell. Like, I mean, I feel like this year personally, they're really focused on Wembanyama, right? That was the hype of the draft. Like that brought everyone in to watch the draft. And I feel like they were hyper focused on purpose on him to bring attention back to the draft, because what else are you going to focus on? Everyone's focusing on number one pick and changing the franchise. And, since the Spurs got it and that whole system, and they were just building these storylines that distract us from the rest of the talent pool. That's how I felt, as just, a fan of the game. And I felt like it was just, they were throwing it in my face consistently. Just Wembanyama, like not about anyone else in the draft. Maybe I missed it. Maybe I'm just a casual. I'm not sure. No. But I didn't feel like there was competition on people trying to climb their draft stock and whatnot, and teams trading up to get certain players. Like maybe I missed these things, and obviously I didn't deep dive into it. That's just how I feel about it.
Yeah, I think the classes. I mean, it's hard. It's hard for me to. I don't watch a lot of college basketball. I watch it during the tournaments, March Madness and stuff. And I kind of see the names, and like I said, a couple. I know Alabama was really good this last year. They surprisingly had a good, successful season.
Even UConn championship team, they had a few. They had 2 drafted, 2 go undrafted, actually, which was a surprise. That our big man Adama Sanogo, he went undrafted, which is crazy. Like a lot of big men, I feel like in this draft didn't get picked, or they got picked very low. Like we're going into like everyone's looking for guards, right? It's a guard league, right? Fast pace, athleticism is what they're looking for. I don't know. I see a shift.
Yeah, definitely. In shooting, you got big men shooting. Freaking Al Horford resuscitated his career shooting from the outside. So yeah, and it's weird. I remember hearing. I've heard about the Thompson twins. They're with Overtime Elite, but that's something I absolutely have no idea about. I don't know what I've heard of Overtime Elite. It's kind of like a highlight reel, kind of like a YouTube. They're very into marketing, social media, making highlights. Overtime Elite. And they're kind of like one of these, kind of like Julian, like how they get kids 12 and under. They're not 12 and under, but these kids that maybe they're coming out of high school, maybe they forego college, and they enter kind of this academy where it's kind of like a marketing highlight video kind of thing, and to develop them there. So I've heard about them, but I absolutely know nothing about the league, and it seems like it's going more towards that way, I guess, in development, because maybe now with NIL, maybe guys stay longer in college, or they look at other opportunities, other leagues that they can join without having to go to college, because they had to be, before you had to go to college straight up, because they wouldn't even, I don't think they were even taking high school kids at some point in time. They may, but obviously the rules changed.
I think that, that's the move. I just think teams are going to want to like see a guy and like develop them and move them towards themselves, like kind of shape them themselves versus going to college, and then that player just losing all that gravitas of like what made him so popular in high school to then going to college and just being in a shitty system because he picked the wrong school, but yeah, he's still young. And then, it seems like that's like the move, especially since you're seeing it be so successful in Europe, for example. I mean, that's how Jokic and Luka were. I mean, they just fed through that system.
Yeah, I mean, do you really like? We're talking about like generational greats. Like how many? I mean, they're called generational greats for like a reason, right? It's not like it happens every year. So to kind of expect that to happen every year, I don't really. I'm more of like a wait and see guy. Let's roll the ball out and see how they do, because some of these
Sometimes kids need more seasoning, bro.
Yeah, some of these guys might get picked high pick, and they might coming off the bench, or they might not play at all.
I mean, it's true. Like I feel like I wish I had names and all the top 5 picks, but just overall watching, man, over the last few years, our top 5 or top 10, like we have to really be patient with these young guys right now. Some are emerging super late, or if you're drafted high, you're going to a shitty team and they expect you to change it overnight, right? So they're not getting that credit that that they deserve, right? Because not everyone's going to be LeBron and take your team to the playoffs in the first year, like getting drafted just because you're number one. But I feel like, do you guys think that's the expectation? So, like an example, like Wembanyama coming in, supposedly generational talent, he's going to the Spurs, hasn't been in the playoffs last couple of years. We've known, they had dynasties, great coaching. Do you expect him to be a playoff, contender this season just for him being a number 1 draft pick?
I mean, there's going to be a lot of pressure. I mean, obviously, being the first round pick, that's a lot of pressure. Obviously,
I think with the NBA, with 66% of teams making the playoffs, I think the bare minimum is to get into the play-in.
Yeah.
To get top 10.
How far you go, how deep you go.
Playoffs don't even really mean much anymore. It's like, if like the bare minimum, you get into the top 66%. Like, that's not that tough.
Yeah.
I mean, how many players on each conference don't make it? That makes 5 teams out of 15 that don't make it. I mean, 5 teams out of 15 that don't make it. Like, I think the bare minimum is to get into the top 10.
And the Spurs just announced I think they extended Pop for another 5 years, extended his contract.
Yeah.
So, and Pop essentially made his career off of Tim Duncan, a draft pick, a high draft pick, a generational
number 1
guy.
draft pick.
So he's going 2.0 with Wembanyama. So yeah, I mean, playoffs bare minimum. How far deep he goes, I don't know if you guys saw some of the highlights from him. I wasn't. I mean, overly impressed.
I saw the first game.
I wasn't impressed.
I was not impressed. Obviously, he was nervous. The new system. He's playing in the U.S. Honestly, for anyone, and I'm not giving him like an excuse or anything, but like playing with guys you've never even played with before, you're used to a European system, like Julian, consistently mentions. He did look lost out there. Second game, obviously, he turned it around. But then again, not to discredit him, but it is also G League, so I would like to see more out of it. Like they're like, you know what? 1 bad game, 1 good game. All right, we saw some potential. Let's sit him out before he gets hurt. But it's like, how are you going to prep him for in game, like live, like when the season starts, against going to Giannis, a Jokic, a Bam out of Bayou?
I will say, to be fair, like you said, a lot the adjustment level to like playing over here versus over there it's drastic. I mean, look out! It took Jokic. Jokic was on the bench for the first couple years. You know what I mean? Like, he didn't even get any play time. But he also
wasn't a number 1 draft pick.
Yeah, but it still took him to 25. Like, I mean, me and Gabe talked about this before. It's just the whole everything's a lot more like individualistic here with the style of play versus like theirs not so much. I mean, you've heard like Giannis and Luka saying like scoring here is like so much easier because it's a different way of like going about it. And you know what's interesting too? This is a little bit sidetracked, but I was watching something and they're talking about like, because with the whole load management thing, a lot of players now, like even in like their mid early
for doing that to all his players.
Yeah. So I was apparently it's all like scientific in the like development at teenage years. So like here, especially over the past, let's say 15 years, AAU has like exploded to where kids aren't getting breaks anymore.
Yeah.
And like you go into your season in like high school or whatever, and then you immediately playing AAU games like every weekend, and you're getting no break. There's no rest. And apparently a lot of studies shown that like players, like even players now in the NBA who did AAU, they said they felt like they were at their physical peak at 18. But yet they're 25 now, and really you should be hitting your physical peak now versus like people like Luka feels like, or even Giannis, they're hitting their peak now, and they have the best physical shape they've ever been in because I guess the systems there's more breaks. Like you have the summer off, you're working together versus here we're so like I was saying, it's all about how many points you can get, how many rebounds can you get, how many things. So it's like if you can just pad your stats as much as possible and just keep up, it's so much pushing your highlight reel, I guess, that now these guys are coming in at like 22, 23 years old, and they're just like they got to get load management, and they're just Jimmy. I don't think Jimmy Butler can even play a full season if he wanted to. Like I think he's at the point where his body's just
athletic than back then, right? They're faster, they're stronger, they jump higher. These kids are like freak of natures nowadays. Like you see them, it's insane.
But that in the area where they're not even peaking anymore in the NBA. Because like I said, a lot of studies showing like their knees and stuff that like I guess their knees are aged a lot more even though they're at 24 because they're playing like triple the amount of games that they were 20 years ago, for example, before the whole AAU phase. And I thought that was like an interesting thing because people trash the load management because like, oh, you're just being lazy, you're getting paid all this money, you should get paid. But like realistically, it's like the systemic issue of like young youth development and
here's the thing with that, load management by itself is fine. It's just what happens is when everybody's doing it, that's the problem. I think I've heard the arguments that decreases the quality of the game, right? You have people that travel, maybe LeBron was in Miami, maybe just like Messi coming to Inter Miami. He's gonna go to whatever not Seattle. I meant to say Portland. He's gonna go to Portland. He's gonna go to California. He's gonna go to New York, and people are gonna want to see him. But because you have him on load management, he's gonna sit out this game because you're trying to protect him for the rest of the season. And that kind of it kind of hurts. I guess the quality of the game, right? Because you want to see the best.
No, and I get that.
The best. You know what I mean? At all times. So. It's fine. Load management in general is fine. Like especially if you're trying to prolong a career, a guy coming off an injury, you're trying to do it. Help a guy stretch a guy out over a season. But what happens is when every team is doing it, all the best players on every team is load management. It's like, okay, well, we're just watching a G League until the playoffs. You know what I mean?
My thing is like, why don't you just
seems like the best that
could be a form of load management. Like if don't sit them out for games. It seems like
Like I said, it seems like from what I've seen, like what I've read and like watched, it seems like the best issue is just from like I said, it's like a systemic problem from the youth. It's just like you're working these kids too hard. So then by the time they're fully developed grown men, they're already like, they're not the same as what they were. So now it's like you're forced to load manage a guy who's coming out of fucking college at like 23 years old now. Because, like I said, I mean, there's no way Jimmy Butler can run a full 82 games. Like, I do not believe he could. Like, or countless players. I don't like. I'm sure almost any star nowadays cannot run a full 82.
Yeah, and most of them don't. I think maybe the most starters they go like 70.
I think Jokic he plays 72? A lot of games. I think right. Doesn't he play a ton of games?
Well, I mean, you got to think too. But I mean, this day, like it's a faster paced game than what it used to be as well. Like. You know what I mean? Like,
it's a culmination. It seems like
and
that's why they shorten the season.
Or you
players aren't playing it anyways. So what's the point?
You announce an in-game season, which I didn't have it in the show notes, but I pulled it up because they did announce the in-tournament.
There we go.
They broke open the conferences. They have it.
I was waiting for that.
Like East versus West, but players on the winning team, the champion, win $500,000 each. Losing team win $200,000 each. Play in tournament. We'll skip it over there because I don't have all the details specifically, but I know they did announce it. Because we had a draft.
So they officially announced that in-season tournament thing.
In-season tournament, yes. Here we go.
Stupid, man. It's
I'm surprised. I'm surprised hearing that from you, Julian, the Mr. Soccer fan.
No, it's so dumb. Well, it's a whole different scenario.
Yeah, but I thought you would actually be excited because you complained basketball is so boring, and this will bring some excitement to the fans.
No, this goes against everything I said.
Julian loves new. Julian loves exciting. Julian loves moving forward.
Here's the problem that the NBA. Here's the problem. NBA refuses to grasp.
I haven't made up my mind.
This is the same issue with MLB, and we were just talking about it. The problem is the regular season doesn't mean shit, and instead of addressing the reason why the regular season doesn't mean shit, it's like, what else can we add to it to make it more exciting through the season? It's like, no, the reason why people are tuning out in the beginning and the halfway point through the season because the games don't mean fucking anything. You're allowing 10 teams on each side to make a playoff. And then on top of that, you have 82 games with load management because clearly players don't even care. Like we said, first seeds don't even fucking matter anymore. It doesn't mean anything. Really and it's like, I don't understand. You're already having a load management issue with players not wanting to play. And then on top of that, you want to throw in more games with the in-season tournament. And like $500,000, they don't give a fuck about that. They make that in a Nike deal. Like, I mean, like it's just like, I don't, they get in their own way. Like, I don't understand. The amount of games do not matter. The importance of the game matters. NFL has 17 games in a season, and each one matters intensely to where people do not want to miss. I will never understand adding playoff spots and adding an in-season tournament doesn't do anything. And what you're saying with soccer is completely different because those tournaments are also historic tournaments that have been around longer than the league itself. And also those tournaments qualify you into something bigger. At the end of the day, the biggest thing in the NBA is winning the NBA championship. There's nothing bigger than that. The biggest thing is
season tournament champion.
Yeah.
Who gives a fuck? Like, I mean,
that's the holy grail of basketball. That is the holy grail of basketball. Who doesn't want to be the season tournament champion?
Yeah, and to get more details,
everybody wants to be an all-star MVP. Apparently, it doesn't make sense to me.
The inaugural in-season tournament will tip off November 3rd and go all the way to the championship December 9th, and it'll be in Las Vegas.
I'm genuinely surprised. I heard about this literally like 3 days ago.
And is it still an 82-game season?
Yeah. So the games still count towards the regular season games, all except the championship game. So every game counts towards the regular season. Or I think semifinal and championship, those are the two games that don't count.
Why did we even have divisions?
Yeah, so there's going to be group play and knockout rounds. There's 67 games, group play and knockout rounds. More details. Let me see. I'm just trying to read real quick.
I don't get it.
I don't know specifically about what you said, JoJo, but yeah.
Yeah, so they already have the breakdown. I'm not sure where I saw it. Maybe NBA Instagram, where they already have all the teams divided up into their little conferences. I forgot how they did it. They did it by seeding and then by conference, and so they made it fair. So we already have the brackets and everything on. So it's gonna be like kind of World Cup style first round pool play. You're gonna play every team once, and then obviously the two best teams,
group stage,
the group stage, they're gonna advance into the elimination stage after pool play.
So they organize it by the records. So they did they did a pot of the best records, like 1 through 3, then 4 through 6, like the 4th place through 6th place, the best records.
Yep.
Then 7th through 9th, 10th through 12th, and 13th.
You know what makes you already have divisions. Why are we breaking them up into groups?
Because you got to do.
They should literally use the divisions that we never use in NBA.
That's what I'm saying. It's already broken up into 5.
But you got to make the But
you don't even use it.
But I think it's a little bit fairer because you're getting teams with similar records, I guess, or they're placing of the records. Maybe not similar records, like literally like he won 12 games, they won 12 games, but maybe their place on it makes your
division more important, though. It makes you. That's how you breed rivalries. That's how you breed rivalries. Like, that's how you get a Miami and like an Orlando or whoever else is in the division. Because who fucking cares? We don't know who's in the division. I think Philadelphia. That's how you get rivalries, because you have to go up against these same teams year in and year out. I hate the Tennessee Titans because I play them twice a year, every fucking year. That's how you create passion. The NBA is so fucking infuriating. I mean, I don't understand.
Even MLB does it right with divisions.
Yeah,
that's why
even MLB.
They do it right. So
you think the Yankees and Red Sox wouldn't matter as much as they weren't even in the same division? Like,
probably not. Probably not.
Anyway, so
it baffles me, man.
That's going to be coming up November 9th. But overall, how do you guys feel about Summer League? Any highlights? Wembanyama being sat. Is he the truth? He the GOAT?
We'll see.
Listen, man, I don't know, bro. Your second game, you had a great game, right? I think they're not really looking at stats. I think they're looking at his skill set overall, how he moves at his size, how he dribbles the ball, how he shoots the ball. That's really what they're looking for, like those little signs of greatness. Yeah, he had a great, second game, but then again, look at the talent level you're playing against. I mean, first year guys and second year guys. It's still tough to tell. I want to see a few more games, right? Like if you're playing against guys, your talent level, cool. Can you dominate, continuously? Because when you step into the league in that first game and you got Giannis coming at you, like it's a wrap, bro. Like I don't know what to tell you. Like no one's
getting dunked on, you're getting posterized, and
it's a wrap. You know what I mean? Yes, you're a rookie. It's fine, right? It'll give you the benefit of the doubt, but that goes to show later on we're going to see the comparisons of how this generational player comes in compared to the hype of LeBron. They try to say he was more hype than LeBron come in. I'm not going to take that slant. I can't believe anyone would even argue that because of his height, because how he can move. Bro, look at these guys. No offense to Zion or anything. Zion had the most potential coming in that we could compare to LeBron. Unfortunately, health, injuries, like all these little things.
Bro, that Zion drama is fucking hilarious.
That too. That is another.
That shit is so funny. That shit is so funny.
Back to Summer League. It'll be dope to why not let him play like 2 or 3 more games, man? Like worried about industry, like I get it, but I don't know.
Maybe you're trying to say
I don't think he needs to play in it. I mean, I'll say I think the Summer League's kind of stupid. Like, why do we have this for like top tier draft picks? I mean, I get for like the second rounders or undrafted players, but like I have no issue with a top tier draft pick not playing in the Summer League in a pointless tournament. I'd rather him just prep and get ready through training camp and get ready for the season. Like, I can give 2 shits how he performs in Summer League against whoever. Like, it's one thing if you're a guy battling for like, I get if you're a guy playing like for like a spot on a team.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Preseason, like if it's like a like NFL preseason, for example, like, and you're trying to but like if you're the guy's going to be on the team, like why is he going to I'd rather him just.
I mean, like you gotta. I feel like it's important. Like you don't have to do it. Obviously, if you're a top draft pick, maybe sit out, cool. But like you're getting your reps in, you're getting in-game feel. Like, you know what I mean? What? So you're just
you have preseason for. I mean, the season's not until. Well, the season's not until October. So I mean, you got whole training camp that's September, and then you got preseason leading into that. I mean, that's what it's all that for. I mean, I think Summer League's just at this point, it's just a money grab. I mean.
I think it's fine. They're trying to fill that spot, that 10 through 15 spot.
I get it for guys who need to make teams, but like if you're, I'm not gonna fault Wembanyama for not playing. Like I don't who cares? Like I mean, he can go in and then load up and play so well in the Spurs, and we will completely forget the fact that he played 2 games in the Summer League.
Oh,
like do you remember LeBron's Summer League? Like I don't fucking remember.
I don't remember him. I don't remember him getting dunked on.
Whose Summer League? Whose Summer League do you remember? Like, I mean,
oh man,
Lonzo Ball.
Yeah,
Lonzo Ball.
He had a good Summer League.
That was because the dude was a whole marketing employer.
Lonzo Ball, MVP Summer League.
Yeah,
some good ones, man.
That was the MVP of the fucking bench.
J.R. Smith back in the day.
MVP
Waterboy. Summer League.
Yeah. I think it's a good opportunity just for guys to get a second look. They're playing, playing at
second look, guys.
I'm not upset that he's sitting out. I just feel like he should play.
You're heated, dude. You're so pissed.
No, listen, mad. He should play 1 or 2 more, bro. You had the one good game, and they're like, all right, that's it. We've seen enough. You're good. And we pull you because he redeemed himself in the second game.
I don't know.
But that's how. What is it like? For
bro,
what?
I mean, I don't know, man. Like,
I don't blame him. Like, I don't want to play that shit. Just like, what the fuck? I get nothing out of that.
Speaking of,
so you don't get shitted on your first week in the NBA. that's
why you have preseason. Honestly, I think preseason you might have better talent than you do Summer League.
I mean, no, 100%. You're gonna have better talent.
No.
You're gonna have vets playing in preseason.
Speaking of taking a break. Let's talk about the MLB All-Star break that happened over the weekend. We hit the halfway point in the MLB season. All-Star weekend over the weekend of this past Saturday. we had the Futures game, Home Run Derby, and tonight they play the All-Star game. So let's do a recap of the MLB All-Star Weekend. JoJo, we've been wanting to talk baseball, and you're finally here. What do you think so far about this MLB All-Star Weekend, which they hosted in Seattle, which I think is a great. I think I had a stat. Did I put it up there? It's been in Seattle. Like, this is the third time that's been in Seattle overall. I think like the third time they've had it hosting, and I think like Seattle's such a great city. They have a great young team.
Yeah, I agree.
In Seattle, so I think it's a great spot to have MLB All-Star Weekend. So let's talk about your recap so far of the All-Star break.
Man, I didn't watch the Celebrity All-Star game or the Futures game, so sorry about that. But I did watch the Home Run Derby last night. And just overall speaking, man, I think Seattle's doing a great job in promoting the All-Star Weekend this year. Like, I see it everywhere. Like, I'm on my phone, I see it promoted through the apps, MLB, I see it in commercials. And they're really highlighting their young superstar. I'm not going to say all-star, superstar, Julio Rodriguez, man, putting him at the forefront in Seattle. Like, they're blasting you like with Julio Rodriguez, man. And that's good, right? That's good marketing. That's what we want to see in baseball, right? Like, you have these special players. Like, we have to really market them and put them out there, right? I think MLB's been lacking in that in the past, but they're really trying to bring that forward. Even as just putting him out there for the All-Star week and making him the face of the franchise, they're doing an amazing job with that, and having him participate in the Home Run Derby, right? Having him on the mic, answering questions, being interactive with the fans, right? That's what we want to see, And I had the opportunity to actually work the All-Star game the entire weekend, the Home Run Derby, about 6 years ago when it was in Miami in 2017. So, just like how Julian's about to experience what's going on with Messi over there, I had hands-on experience with that. And it was a really dope opportunity and something great to be a part of, right? So, being all the way here and literally opposite,
side of the country.
States, yeah, like, I feel like they're doing a great job in branding the All-Star game. And, getting into the Home Run Derby, man, let's talk about that. And I specifically want to talk about the hometown kid that everyone was rooting for, was Julio Rodriguez in the first round. He hit 41 home runs.
My God, this man couldn't stop.
Or 41 points.
40, honestly, and his percentage, I think it was like 80% of his swings resulted in home runs. So it was efficient. And that shit was crazy watching live. I was sitting on the couch like, this is not happening right. And I've seen Aaron Judge live. I've seen Stanton live. I've seen Justin Bour live back when he was in the Marlins. I've seen Gary Sanchez live. Like, these are great hitters in the Home Run Derby. And damn, Julio Rodriguez put on a show.
41.
Obviously, he didn't win.
Yeah,
he didn't win, but he gave the hometown fans something to be excited for. I don't know if you had highlights, of the Derby from last night.
Yeah, I was gonna say I agree with you with the marketing aspect of I think this is the best I've seen MLB promote the MLB in a very long time. Like, I feel like they're actually making an effort of like pushing players, letting players kind of showcase their own personalities and stuff. Like, a lot of that unwritten rule shit seems to kind of be going to the wayside. I mean, you're seeing countless players. I mean, look at gosh, I always fuck up his name. Rosarena.
Hey,
I always forget how his letters.
This is Macarena. Rosarena.
Like Jazz Chisholm, or just like countless other Tatis, like countless players. Like, actually, like they're showing them. That's how you get it exciting. And I think MLB has just done a really good job, I think, of capitalizing the success of the World Baseball Classic and the new rules being implemented. And we're seeing it in the All-Star game. Like, I feel like I see the All-Star game stuff promoted everywhere, even like now, like on my fucking TV, I see All-Star game promotion, or last night with the Home Run Derby. But then, as for the Home Run Derby, Julio Rodriguez fucking killed it that first round. And then he like tapered off, which is kind of
well, that's the thing, man. Fucking hitting home runs is exhausting. I don't know if you've been in a batting cage, but that shit is exhausting.
What's the guy's name from Baltimore? He went switch.
Yes. I forgot his name.
He didn't win, but Schroch or something. I don't know. Yeah, that was crazy. He went switch and then hit it back. He hit it straight every pitch when he switched.
5 out of 7 or something, or 6 out of 7.
Yeah, and then he's lost to did he lose to Guerrero Jr.?
No, he lost to the guy from
Louis Robert
Hawaii.
Rosarena.
Louis Roberts, or what was his name?
Louis Robert. Andy Rushman.
Yeah, that's a.
And it's crazy, real quick, not to interrupt Julian's point, but what got me excited, I don't know if you guys know from last year's derby, that Julio Rodriguez eliminated Pete Alonso, who is a 2-time champ, trying to become the first 3-time champ since Ken Griffey Jr. And if you've seen Alonso's previous home run derby title runs, like effortless. Yeah. He set the standard. I was actually a believer, like, this guy's going to win every year. Yeah. The way he did it. And then the following year, you get a new young guy who just breaks that barrier. Like, it's insane. Like, and that's why I think the home run derby is so exciting. Like, you're seeing 400-foot bombs flying all across the field. Like,
was Pete Alonso the one going? Was he going to the back? Kevin Durant, what?
Oh, he tweeted. He's like, Julio fucking Rob or something like that. He was just like hyping on Julio when he had that 40.
It's impressive, man.
I saw a meme.
Average man can't do that. Like, you can't.
Hey, what's that meme with Adam Silver on the phone? I saw that with, like, they said Rob Manfred's gonna get a performance enhancing test after he hit 41. They get him with with a piss test.
You know who I'd rather have not seen do that was fucking Mookie Betts. That was horrendous showing.
Oh, yeah. Listen, man.
That was. I know he did it just to do it. Yeah. But golly, bro, that was horrendous. That's like, my God.
He's a smaller guy. He's a speed guy. He's an in-game hitter, right? Like, obviously, when someone's throwing 90 at you,
I didn't expect them to win. Yeah.
No, he knew he wasn't gonna win. His wife convinced him.
Damn, 11.
I'm glad he got over 10. I was there on the side, like, kind of secondhand embarrassment, because, like, a player of that caliber, and I'm like, damn, come on, I'm rooting for the underdog here. Like, you know what I mean? These Imagine Jose Altuve in the home run derby. Like,
I mean, Arozarena's kind of smaller dude too compared to the other guys that were there. Yeah, now that he's like as small as Mookie Betts, but he was. It was.
So how do you feel?
Everybody boo Alonso from the Mets when he went up against the whole stadium started booing him.
Yeah, because you're going against the hometown kid, man. Yeah, and it's funny because I think everyone in the back of their mind knew that even though he hit 41, that Pete Alonso could possibly get there. He can get there. Like he's able to do that. So he needed every single home run in that first round. That was a championship matchup right there, to be honest with you. Like, that should have been. I mean, congrats to Vladdy, though. I don't know if you guys know, but that's the first father-son duo to win the home run derby. So
that was almost a trivia question I picked, but I figured it.
Damn. I don't know. Isn't that really a lot of? I would have picked somebody else. Here. Barry Bonds.
There's been other people that have won it, that played in it, and the Bonds and I
was going to say
the Griffeys. Okay. There's also.
All right, real quick question for you two. I don't know how to phrase this, but I guess favorite player or favorite home run derby outing, favorite champion that you guys have
ever seen?
Personal. Like, what stands out to you? You think home run derby? Like, I remember seeing this guy, and
man,
this.
I gotta say Griffey, man, because Griffey, iconic hat backwards. Griffey, and he's a lefty, so to me, I'm a lefty as well. I mean, Griffey has always had a place in my heart. Griffey,
dude, you're really making me think back. Holy shit, I don't know.
So why you think?
I don't know if I have one.
I mean, for me, not just because
I picture Big Papi, even though he didn't win it, but I'm trying to think of man, I don't know. Go ahead, JoJo. I think.
Yeah, no, for me, literally, back in 2017, my current favorite player, Yankee captain, I think that was his rookie year, and Aaron Judge just stealing the show from everyone. He was a phenom. Everyone was like, who is this 6'7" giant who came into the league and is just taking over and then joins the home run derby and just demolishes everyone. That's what he was known for, was his power. Effortless swings. The ball was flying everywhere. Now, my favorite to see in the
Giancarlo.
Derby. I was gonna say Giancarlo. If you guys see Giancarlo hit home runs, they're straight line drives, and he has the highest exit velocity. This man, one of the strongest players you would ever see swing a baseball bat. It's insane. Those would be my two.
I was right about the Big Papi did win in 2010, and I remember that. Like I remember because I'm looking at the winners, and yeah, that's why it comes to my mind because I'm like I remember seeing Big Papi win that. And Ryan Howard.
Cano was a good one too. I mean, that's when he
was
at the peak of his powers. He's at the peak of his powers.
He had his dad pitching to him, which was actually pretty dope. Another one that stands out was Julian, real quick, is your boy Harper winning at home. He was the hometown kid a few years ago. I think with the Nationals, he won the Derby.
I remember that's how I first learned about Prince Fielder. That was through that in 2009. Yeah, I remember Ryan Howard winning it. Man, what was the one? You know which one that always comes to my mind too? Oh, okay, actually, yeah, it was Guerrero's. No, wait, what's AT&T Park? Is that what's the one in San Francisco?
Man, they called it a bunch of. They called it not PNC.
That one always comes to my mind because I remember people sitting out in the canoes, or the kayaks in the water, and then the players trying to hit it in the bay. I don't remember which one that was, but that also comes to my mind a lot. Like
2007.
Yeah, Guerrero, AT&T Park. Yeah, it was that one. Funny enough, but yeah, I remembered like those guys. Like I remember one guy like tried to catch it in his kayak and he fucking fell in the water. I remember that specifically. But and then I remember Big Papi winning it, and so was Ryan Howard and Prince Fielder.
Yeah. So All-Star game tonight. They play, so by the time this comes out, All-Star will already be played. Any specific players y'all are looking forward to playing?
Unfortunately, Aaron Judge will not be playing tonight. He has a contusion on his toe, so that's unfortunate. We do have our starting pitcher, Garrett Cole, on the mound, so looking forward to seeing that. This is his first All-Star start. He's had multiple All-Star appearances, but looking forward to seeing a fellow Yankee out there starting on the mound, man. Could potentially go for a Cy Young this year. What do you guys got?
I'm looking for Ohtani, so I'm wearing my Angel shirt right there.
Yeah, I'm with Game.
Ohtani is the greatest baseball player of my life. I think we had this discussion, JoJo, last time. The three players to watch was Luis Arias, Shohei Ohtani, and Ellie De La Cruz. Those guys are the hottest guys right now at this point in the season.
Yeah, I could agree with that. I could agree with that. And guess what?
My guy.
I got to see 2 out of the 3 play in the Classic. So that was pretty dope. Seeing Ohtani strike out Trout will forever be engraved in my brain.
Yeah, that's legend.
That's a memory forever.
Yeah, I'm excited to see Ohtani and I'll see the hometown guy, Reyes. But yeah, you guys want to call it a show right there?
We can call it.
Yeah, man. I think so, yeah. So we'll be back. Listen, we're in the middle of the summer. We appreciate everybody checking us out. We didn't talk any UFC. We didn't talk any Women's Cup. I mean, we're getting into. Hopefully, we'll get into that as we get closer and closer to the summer. But we appreciate all the downloads. Real Fans Podcast, Real Fans FC. Check that out. That's our other soccer show that we have adjacent to us.
Other soccer show.
I mean, our other podcast that talks about soccer specifically. So everybody who hates and says, "Hey, Gabe, you don't know shit," I don't know what exactly. Okay, all I could name was Tottenham and Chelsea. Okay, I'm sorry, I don't know soccer. So yeah, Julian, tell them where we can check us out, especially now our new handle.
Yeah, Real Fans Podcast anywhere, all social medias, on Threads now. Obviously, you know where to find us on the YouTube if you're not watching us right there now, and then anywhere you get your podcasts on all the platforms. And if you are listening on the audio platforms, please, if you're on Spotify, give it a rating. If you're on Apple Podcasts, leave a review. If you leave one, maybe we'll read it. Maybe.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, the call out. Just if you have anything negative to say, though, leave it on Threads.
yeah, not on the app. Don't leave bad ratings on the podcast. Yeah. If you hate games, let them know on the YouTube comments and social media, not on the the podcast. But
yeah, man, that'll do a Real Fan Podcast. We appreciate it. Thank y'all for checking us out. We'll be back here next week. Peace.
Peace out, everybody.